Here we are in one of our food plots, and it is beautiful. There's all kinds of pollinators. We got all kinds of butterflies, there's honeybees, bumblebees, just all kinds of wildlife. Just wanted to talk a little bit about how I plant food plots. Not saying anyone else's way of doing it's wrong or anything like that. This is the way that works for me, and I think, if you were to try it, it'll really work out great. Basically, whenever I first started these plots, I guess it was almost 7 years ago now, is I did disc a lot of them, but I really, looking back now, I kind of wish I wouldn't have. It kind of set me back. You don't have to disc. The main thing is just seed to soil contact. So whenever you start out, you want to definitely kind of burn the area, and by that I mean like glyphosate, maybe 2,4-D, and that way you get that bare soil. And then once you kind of get those food plots established, year after year, I'm using a lot less chemical, hardly any fertilizer. We did start using Deer Grow last year and sprayed most of our plots with it, and the results were awesome. The areas that we didn't spray, you could tell a big difference. But this soil is kind of just, it's raising its own pH. It's fertilizing its own. It's got red and white clovers. There's some turnips in here. You can kind of see some of these yellow flowers. Those turnips now, the ones that haven't been eaten by all the deer, they're kind of rotting, but they're also just kind of decomposing in the soil. So really, it's just like creating its own mulch layer. You hear a lot of guys talking about that. But other than in the dormant season, there goes the bumblebee now. But in the dormant season, I'll do a little bit of frost seeding if there's any kind of areas that need to be covered that don't have much growing, and that really helps it out. But at this time, we're in late April, almost May. I haven't done a thing to these plots, and I won't do a thing to these plots until later in the summer. Then I'll come in and spray, and at that point, all of this is just going to kind of decompose and just provide an awesome mulch layer. I don't use a cultipacker or anything like that. I might, run over it lightly depending on how dry it is with a side-by-side, maybe, a piece of fence, something like that. But for the most part, I just wait until, the rain's gonna for sure come and just spread all that seed. And as you can see, it works pretty well. We've had a lot of deer in here over this past season. In fact, I killed a real nice buck out of this plot. But if you look, it is just, there is no weeds hardly at all. That is one little spot I just pulled up. So yeah, that's a lot of food for wildlife. But you also got to think, as this dies and decomposes, think about all that mulch, and it's just going into the soil. And if you look down here, you could actually still spread any kind of seed into that, and there's enough soil there to where it would germinate just fine. It's real beautiful soil. But not only, we got the pollinators hanging around and all that, pretty soon the does are going to start having their fawns. And I mean, most of this is knee high. Those fawns can hide in here. If a predator does come in, they can escape real easy. So I mean, it's super beneficial. So that's why I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to mow it. You hear every year about people brush hogging and killing a fawn, and I definitely don't want to risk that. So I just kind of leave them alone and spray them in late summer. But this is kind of what works out for me. For any kind of habitat consulting, anything like that, wildlife trapping, we're the people you need to call. We'll get you taken care of. As you can see, the results of what we're doing, it's really working out. And I thank God that we live in a free country and we can do this and enjoy the land and help the wildlife. So contact us at martinnuisancewildlife@gmail.com. We're on Facebook as well as Instagram. So just give us, let us know if we can help, if you have any questions, anything like that. Y'all have a blessed day.